All right, welcome back, YouTube. So we're getting to our second card review of the Showdown the Badlands. We're going to be reviewing Demon Hunter. Now, same thing with the last review. We're just going to go through all the cards, give my opinion on them, whether or not I think they're going to be good or not, rate them 1 to 5 stars, and, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best, that whole shebang. So we're just going to get right into it. The first one we got right here is Gunslinger Kurtrist. 5 mana, 4/6. Battlecry, if your deck has no duplicates, fire 6 random 2 damage shots at minions in the enemy's hands. So it's targeted to minions. So if they are small little guys that have 2 HP, maybe 3 or even 4, these 6 random shots will shoot at them, and if it kills them, it will, I'm assuming, destroy them from the hand, which is a really cool effect. Now there is a downside. You have to play just 1 copy of every card in your deck. You can't have duplicates, or you won't get the effect. This is a really cool, very interesting card. I think this card could definitely, shred those more aggressive classes. The only problem is you have to draw the card for it to work. And since it doesn't have a tag to it, there's not a way to easily, tutor it out or, what's the word I'm looking for? Discover it even. I guess you could probably run the weapon and you run like this and like maybe 2 other minions or something like that to guarantee that you find off the soul or whatever. But I think that's it's getting a little too far into it. But the card's very good, and I think for what it does, this will be a really good kind of hand destroyer card that hasn't really been this effect hasn't been seen before, and this is gonna be a really unique effect, and I'm all for it. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5 stars. This is gonna be a really cool card and could probably make or break a certain type of playstyle for Demon Hunter. So the next card we got here, oh, there we go. It's Snake Eyes. 3 mana, 2/3 Naga, Battlecry, roll 2 dice, then discover 2 cards at those costs. Doubles get an extra discover. So if you roll a 2 and a 2, you get a third discover, which is a really cool effect. Especially thinking on the sides of oh, I'm going to be running a Highlander deck with Gunslinger Kurtrist, and you run Snake Eyes. This adds more value to your hand and your deck. It discovers more things, so you're not running out of resources. It's a really good card, and since it's a Naga, you can discover more Nagas. And there's other spells that we're going to be looking at here in a little bit too that just allows you to get multiple copies of Snake Eyes, and that's going to be a really great card. This is, I think, going to be a really good card. The fact that it's random cards, and well, I guess actually it's not random. The cost will be random, but you'll get the discover through 3 cards, which will be cool. I'm not sure if you have to play the dice, but it says it rolls, so I'm assuming that it automatically discovers. So if you roll a 3-cost one, you'll get to pick through 3-cost minion or 3-3-cost minions. If you roll 5, you'll get 5 3-cost minions that you can pick through. Since you get to pick them, the effect is probably a little bit better than it being random. So I'm going to rate this guy a little bit higher. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars. Next one is Blind Eye Sharpshooter. 3 mana, 1/5 Naga. After you play Naga, deal 2 damage to a random enemy and draw a spell, then switch. The fact that it draws from your deck a spell and a Naga really allows for some pretty insane swings. The only problem is it doesn't refresh mana like the Siren one from Mage. So you are limited with how much you could abuse this card, which is very interesting, but I think this card is great. And I think this kind of allows for a new type of aggro Demon Hunter or aggro Naga Demon Hunter playstyle that's going to, allow them to have big turns where they swing very hard on the board. And if it gets removed, then, it's just going to feel really bad. But I think this card's kind of interesting. I'm not really sure how I feel about it just yet, and whether or not it's going to be, actually impactful. The fact that it does have 5 HP is kind of interesting. It could stick on the board for a little bit, especially at 3 mana. There is a lot of removal and a lot of mage, and there's a lot of just treasures that just clear the board. So this card might have a hard time staying on the board, but the effect is really strong. The fact that you're tutoring stuff from the deck automatically, and it's specifically spell and a Naga, you're going to go through your deck really fast, and that typically is pretty strong. I'll give it a 3 out of 5 stars. Next one is the Bartendo Bot, which I really love the artwork for this. This guy looks really cool. The 2 mana 3/1 mech. Battlecry, draw an outcast card and slide to the left of your hand. So that pulls it all the way over to your left, and it's always going to be ready for an outcast. And you can limit your deck to specific outcast guys, spells, minions, and stuff like that. And you could guarantee that you're always going to have an outcast. Now, there's the downside that you could draw all the outcast stuff in your hand, and this guy's going to be useless. But it's not a bad effect. And I think if you're playing specifically an outcast Demon Hunter, this card's going to be really good because you're going to be guaranteed to outcast bonus effect more often, and those bonus effects are typically better than are more better than worse. So I think it's a safe card to add to any type of Demon Hunter deck, and the fact that it's a mech kind of throws it down. If it was a Naga, that'd be even better, but it being a mech doesn't really change things. This is gonna be a good card. You could play this in the Naga deck and run the Amalgam of the Deep in it and discover another copy of this because it's a mech. I think this is going to be a great card. I'm going to give this out a 4 out of 5. Just the fact that you're able to guarantee to give an Outcast card the Outcast effect is going to be really it's going to be a game changer for Demon Hunter, I think. So 4 out of 5 for the Bartendo bot. Next up is Fan of Hammer. It's a 4-mana spell, deals 6 damage, split amongst the lowest health enemies. This is a cool effect. I do like the fact that it hits the low stuff first, so you can pick off the little guys and then build up into it. The downside to it is it doesn't have a tag to it. It's not a fell spell. It's not a shadow spell. So you're not going to get any extra inherent value from that or being able to discover it. It doesn't have an outcast effect. So just is what it is. And I don't know how I feel about it. It's for 4 mana. This is a pretty weak effect. I think there's gonna be better cards that Demon Hunter has. It's gonna be like for removal until Unleash Fel Unleash Fel, the one that deals 1 and restores everything or restores HP back. I think when that happens, when that card rotates out, this card might see some more play. But as of right now, this is only about a 2 out of 5 star card for me. It's not the fact that it does hit the lowest stuff and it goes from lowest to highest. I think is really good, but the fact that it's only 6 damage for 4 mana, it just feels a little bit mediocre. And there's no lifesteal with it. There's no other bonus stuff to it. It's just that. So 2 out of 5 stars for me. Next one up is Load the Chamber. It's a 3-mana spell. That is a Fel spell. Deal 2 damage. Your next Naga, Fel spell, and weapon costs 1 less. So it's hitting 3 things that is making it cheaper. They could all do in 1 turn. The fact that it's able to make other Fel spells cheaper, like this one, all the cool Nagas I just showed, and a weapon cost cheaper, and it also deals 2 damage to anything you want, is pretty impactful. Whether or not this card's actually, it just has too much happening to it, and you're not gonna the time or it's only gonna be 1 Naga, 1 spell, and 1 weapon. It's not just for the rest of that turn or whatever. So if you play this and you have a bunch of spells, it's only gonna reduce it by for 1 spell you cast, and if you don't have any Nagas, it just kind of falls off a bit. So the card is a bit situational. You want to have your hand full of stuff that's going to be able to work. But Demon Hunter normally doesn't have a problem with that. They have a lot of draw. They have a lot of ways to keep stuff in their hand consistently. So there's that side. You can also discover multiple copies of this if this card doesn't, the 2 copies run in your deck, and if it doesn't really work out, or you can discover another one and hope that it does work out. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 stars. It's not a terrible card. Next one is Deparch Desperado, 2 mana, 3/2 Naga. Battlecry, if you cast a Dispel while holding this, give your hero +3 attack this turn. This card is much better than the other one that came out in the last expansion, the Azurite, whatever it's called. You have to cast 4 or 5 random spells or spells to get +5 damage. This card is just much better. It has a Naga tag. You can discover multiple copies of this. You could stack them because it's cheap. You could potentially swing for 9, maybe 12 damage if you're lucky enough, and you have everything magically set up perfectly. This card's not bad, and the fact that it does have the Naga tag and it's a cheap card, it goes well with the Sharpshooter. And you could just go for a turn where you just deal a lot of damage, and those turns where you just have big swings of damage could be enough to win the game. I think this is a great card. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. Up next is the Midnight Wolf. It's a 6 mana 6/6 rush outcast summon copy of this. Now this is going back to the Bartendo bot. You could specifically run the Midnight Wolf in your deck with some other stuff, and you could always guarantee a copy of this. And that's 12/12 in stats for 6 mana, which is pretty big. And I think this card's great. I think this is probably one of the better rushers, and I think Outcast Demon Hunter specifically is going to really enjoy this card. I'm going to give this 3 out of 5. The next one is Pocket Sand. 2 mana spell, deal 3 damage, quick draw. Your opponent's next card costs 1 more. This is a really good card as well. The fact that it's 2 mana and you can deal 3 damage with it, and if you draw it that turn, their stuff's going to cost 1 more. And that hits everything. It's not specific to spells or minions. It's just everything in their hands is just going to cost 1 more. It's going to throw off their plays. It's going to make them kind of rethink what they're going to be doing against your board. It's a good disruption card, and the fact that it's cheap and you could. It is unfortunate that it's not a Fel spell, so you could get multiple copies of it. But I think it's probably best that it's not, because this card would be a little too broken if it was considered a Fel or even a Shadow spell. If they're able to kind of recycle or not recycle, but discover more copies of it. But this is a great card. I'm going to give this 3 out of 5. Up next is Oasis Outlaw, 1 mana spell. Discover a Naga. If you played a Naga while holding this, reduce the cost by 1. Yeah, this is not bad. If you play Naga and then you discover Naga, that Naga you discover is gonna be cheap. You could discover a bunch of the Parched Desperados. You could get an extra two more of these. That's 12 damage, and they're gonna be that much cheaper. That's gonna be pretty good effect. And you could discover all the Nagas in the pool. You could get another Snake Eyes. You could get any other cool Nagas from any of the other classes, I'm assuming, and those ones all have really good effects too. I'm gonna give this a 3. Maybe 4 out of 5 because I think that the fact that you could run 2 of these and the Nagas that you're gonna be discovering, especially because like Sunken City is gonna be rotating out, so all those Nagas are gonna be taken out of this pool, and it's gonna be all the new stuff. And the fact that Snake Eyes is gonna be one of the few Nagas in the pool, you're gonna be not almost be guaranteed, but you're gonna have a higher chance to discover multiple Snake Eyes, and that's gonna be just big enough for this card to probably just be played just because of that effect. The being able to discover more stuff from Snake Eyes is just gonna be enough to kind of swing the tides of the game a bit. I think it's gonna be a good card. I'm thinking this is probably gonna be a 3 out of 5, maybe it's a 4 out of 5, or there's gonna be more Nagas that I kind of overlooked. Maybe there's some more in the neutral set that I didn't realize that are gonna be pretty bad, and that might make this card worse. But I don't see this card being too bad. I mean, just the fact that you can discover Snake Eyes from this will be great enough, and even Sharpshooter will be a good card to find. There's Desperado's gonna be good. Sharpshooter, Snake Eyes. It would be cool if Kirchhoff was a Naga as well, but since it's not, it is what it is. But that's my review for the Demon Hunter cards. Let me know what you guys think about the review, what your opinions are on the cards down in the comments below, all that good stuff. Let me know if you think something should have been rated higher, all of that. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I'll see you guys later.